Lessons from the screen, what we mean is we go through different documentaries to tell you what they gon' do. Give you our lessons, give them our blessings. If they trash, we tell you there is no second guessing. Knowledge is power, but time is precious. And we're here to keep you from them lessons. So sit back as we groove, giving you the review, so you only spend time on the docs that you need to.
Obesity is a huge problem in both America and in Europe. In America, more than half of American adults are obese or overweight. And what's worse, a third of them don't even believe that they are. With this type of landscape, it seems fairly obvious that the health risk associated with carrying too much fat would be common knowledge, or at least something that's talked about considerably and at every turn. And largely it is. However, why aren't these discussions and this information yielding any positive, meaningful results? Why is it that despite all the documentaries, public warnings, pamphlets, and reality TV shows, we continue to face an ever-growing weight problem? Welcome to Lessons from the Screen, the show where we give you a review of whether or not anything that you can get through any particular screen is worth your energy. We waste our time, our energy, and our brain power so that you don't have to. You're welcome. Lessons from the Screen is brought to you by PackSync through the Freedom Train Network. You can find us at www.freedomtrainradio.com or on Stitcher, iTunes, or Google Play Music. Be sure to head to all of those places and give us a review. And be sure to head to our sponsors page, www.packsinc.org. That's www.pactsinc.org, to show some love and support for our sponsors. PackSync is a Black activist and advocacy organization focused on developing the Black community through a shift in culture, education, and economics. And as always, Lessons from the Screen has a frame of reference and perspective that is aligned with that of the Black community. So the things we look at will be looked at with the racial component involved and with some lessons that can be used to improve the community. During this episode of Lessons from the Screen, we will be looking at a 2016 obesity documentary produced by the BBC. During this documentary, they decided to add another layer to the obesity discussion by dissecting an obese woman from start to finish in front of the camera. The stated goal was to show people how obesity affects their internal structures and shortens their lives. We will be looking at this documentary and asking ourselves, did they succeed in creating a change? Can this be helpful? Did we learn anything? And what can anyone get out of this? During this episode of Lessons from the Screen, we will be looking at obesity, the post-mortem. During this documentary, a 60-year-old American woman who was 5'5" and 240 pounds is dissected. Her left arm was amputated and sent to her family for cremation, and the woman before her death volunteered her body for research, which is how her body ended up in this position. And within 10 minutes of the documentary starting, the blade had sliced down the middle of this woman's body. And right here, in case you don't know, it should definitely be noted that this documentary is not for the faint of heart. The bright yellow, inches thick layer of fat directly under the skin warrants an immediate response from the woman doing the dissecting, and it continues to move forward from there. And between the scenes of knives and saws running through the woman's body and the doctor holding up her various organs for comment and inspection, we get treated to the life stories of several overweight people in the UK talking about the social pressures of being overweight and how it has affected them. By the end of the documentary, all of the women's internal organs have been removed, bagged, and placed back in her empty cavity to be sewn shut and sent off again. The doctors issue their closing comments, and the people who have been telling us about their social struggles with obesity have pledged themselves to change. And while the documentary is entertaining, especially if you're into seeing the actual organs and how they might work, or in seeing what fat actually looks like, if you're looking for some deep documentary into the world of fat or any motivation for why you should do your best to remain healthy, this isn't really going to do it for you. First of all, it presents nothing new outside of the visuals, and that's for those people who have not seen the internal organs, the internal structures in real life. The social issues, it only just scratches the surface of them. It doesn't really go very deep into the stigmatization of overweight people. It doesn't really go really deep into some of the other causes of somebody being obese and how it affects their lives in a social setting, in an economic setting, or anything like that. It blibs on these points in brief statements, one-liners, and short graphics, but it doesn't really go into any real depth on